Most of us know that in order to achieve your goals, you must write them down. But what is not as often talked about is the fact that research also consistently shows that those who track their progress toward their goals are much more likely to achieve them. This makes intuitive sense, right? If we not only have a list of written goals, but we're on top of them, we're constantly checking back to see where are we at with respect to those goals. It's an extremely motivating force that makes the mundane, day-to-day grind of working toward those goals much more bearable. And so what we're going to be doing in this video is we're going to design a dashboard inside Notion. This is one of the primary use cases that I use Notion for, that will enable us to see how our income is changing and ideally growing over time. You can use this structure, however, for tracking anything from YouTube subscribers to daily push-ups to how many minutes of reading you've done, etc. Empecemos. So here is the key metrics page that I have in my current Notion workspace. This is the actual page that I use. It's live as I'm currently using it. We're going to be building what we're building today based off of this page. I'm only going to be building one chart though, because you can get that on the free plan. So everything we build in this video together is going to be completely free. If you wanted to have multiple charts the way that I do, where I'm able to categorize, I have money metrics, anything I'm interested in tracking with respect to my money, brand metrics, tracking my YouTube subscribers, Instagram followers, watch time, anything else related to that, etc. Work metrics, how much I'm working, the inputs I'm putting in, and how much I'm earning or estimated earning based on those inputs. And then habit metrics, like how many push-ups I'm doing a day, how many minutes a day or month I'm reading, etc. If you wanted to have more than one chart, you have to pay for a premium plan like I do. I think it's very much worth it though, because if you pay monthly, it's about the same price as Spotify. So if you have Spotify, I mean, if you think Spotify is worth it, Notion might be too. It's certainly worth it for me. If you pay yearly, it's actually even cheaper than Spotify. So that's a decision you can make. But like I said, what we're going to be building in this video is completely free because we're only going to be focusing on one chart, which is the income chart. Here's how it works. In order to capture the data that Notion will then visually chart for us so that we can watch our money changing over time, how much we're making each month, I built another page in Notion that I call Quick Capture. I use this for other things as well. It gives me one-stop shop that I can access both here on desktop that we're on right now and on mobile. I can access this and very quickly capture video ideas. I can capture French phrases. I'm learning French as well, and I use it for other things. But what we're going to be focusing on is here. This is daily money. I have this connected to a daily metric database that I've created in Notion. Any metric that I'm interested in tracking on a daily level, which income would be one of those, I can capture in this view, making it really easy to just essentially check in. I check in once a day, and if I worked Texas Roadhouse, I'll put in how many hours and minutes I worked. If I worked as a substitute teacher, I'll put if I worked either one day, a full day, or a half day. If I get a paycheck from one of my three sources, then I can put that in here. And that way the data, the raw data, is all being tracked nice and neatly, and then translating it over into a chart is very simple and easy with Notion. So let's begin. When you first create your Notion account, this is what you're going to see. Getting started, if you wanted to go through all of this, you certainly can. I'm just going to delete all of this. Okay, and then in order to create a new page, we're going to come over here to private, click the add a page button. The first page I'm going to create is databases. I want somewhere to cleanly organize all of the databases that I have, because even if you don't pay for a paid plan, you're going to probably want more than one database. You can track as many metrics as you want. You just won't be able to visually represent them until you pay for a paid plan. Okay, and then you can give this an icon. I'm going to come up here, look for data, and there's a little database icon. And for the purposes of this video, the only database that we need so far is a daily metric tracking database. So I'm going to say database, going to make it a full page. We're going to call it Daily 2025. Okay, now the easiest way to do this is to pull out Excel. And the reason for that is because Excel has autofill. If I just created this in Excel, it took me like 2 minutes. You just, first you create 2 columns, name them name and date. And then for the name, I put day 1, day 2, day 3. And then I put January 1st, January 2nd, January 3rd. And then once you have those, you can autofill it all the way down until you have all the days listed for 2025 or 2026 if you're making this in 2026 or whatever year you're watching this. And then this will give us a starting point to create all of the records inside of Notion, which you can do like this. So here we go. We're going to go to archive. This is all in Spanish. I apologize. But go to file, I'm sure it's called in English, and then go to export. You're going to download it as a CSV. Okay, once that's downloaded, we're back in Notion. We're going to come up here to the hamburger menu, go to merge with CSV. We're going to choose a file and find that one that we just downloaded. And it says that the property types are name and date. I don't want a full date, but I can change that later. The preview that it gives us looks okay. I want to change that date type, but like I said, I can do that here in a second. Looks good, so importing. Awesome. Now I can make this, I can put this in order. Well, let's change the date type first so that I don't see the whole name of the month. I don't like that. I can change the property type to short date. Nope, not that one. Month, day, year. There we go. Month, day, year. And then I can order this by date so that it's all nice and organized. Okay, now all we do, this is going to be the home of all of the raw data, the numbers themselves of any metrics that we're interested in tracking on a daily level. So for example, income, like we're going to be focusing on in this video, is a metric you're probably interested in tracking on a daily level. As in, this is a monthly view. I'm seeing how much income I've earned per month. However, it's updating based on each daily entry, because if I get a paycheck in the middle of the month, I want that to update my number right here. Whereas a brand metric like YouTube subscribers, I don't want to have to come in here every single day and watch how my YouTube subscriber count is changing bit by bit by bit by bit. I think that's more appropriately followed on a monthly level. So instead of checking in every day, I just check in once a month to see how my YouTube subscriber count, my follower count, etc. are changing. So we're going to be in any metric that you're interested in tracking on a daily level, you can put in here. And then the charting we're going to do for just one property. So I'm going to create my first property. This is a number property because we're tracking income. You can change the number format to US dollar. And then you can give it an icon if you wish. Change the name. Okay, and we should be good. This is all that we really need for the purposes of this video. But again, if you wanted to track other metrics on a daily basis, you can add as many as you want over here, and you can add different types. If we take a brief look over at my current one in Notion, I have all of these listed. These are metrics I'm interested in tracking, including even habits. You can have little checkboxes here and track that on a daily level, turn it into a chart. It's very flexible what you can do with Notion. But again, just keep in mind, if you have a free plan, you're limited to just one chart, although you can track as many metrics as you wish. Okay, let's create a couple of more pages. We're going to start with our quick capture page where we'll actually be capturing the data. You can give this an icon. And then what I want is I want this same database. So I don't even need to create a new database. I'm just going to create what's called a view. It's a view of that database, and it's going to be a list view. So I'm going to create list view, connect it to the database that we already have made. So this is showing our database. Oh, it looks like maybe I don't want a list view. Nope, I don't want a list view. Instead of a list view, it's a table view. That's what I meant. Table view. Okay, table view. And now in order to create this quick capture page, the way that I do it is I want to see today's date, the real time, what today is. Notion will show that for us, and the last couple of days, so that in case I forgot to put an entry in, I can see just kind of like a rolling last couple of days. That's just the way that I like to do it. In order to do that, we're going to come up here to the filter tab first, filter it by date. I want to see relative to today, the date should be within the last couple of days. Boom. And then in order to make it in order, I can also put a sorting on here. By date, I want the date to be ascending. Another reason I like to do it this way with the past 2 days is because if you wanted to go back further, you can come up here to the filter tab and easily delete 2, and instead say you want to look at the last couple of weeks, you can just put 14, and that way you can see a little bit further back and fix errors or take a look, whatever. And so let's input some data now. Let's say on the 14th you got a paycheck and it was for $200. On the 17th you got another paycheck, it was for $50. Then the 21st you made $348. And then today you got another paycheck and it was for $121. I'm going to bring this back to just the last couple of days. Awesome. So we have everything we need. And again, you can have all of your metrics here. They'll all show by default. Whatever you made in that step, they'll all show here and you can track it all. The only thing that you won't be able to do if you're on the free plan is the multiple charts. But we're going to do the one key chart that we're making. I'm creating another page. I'm going to give it an icon. Now, before you actually create any of your charts, you should take a second to ask yourself, what exactly do I want to see? Because there's a lot of different ways. Because we're just capturing the raw data here in the quick capture tab, we can slice and dice it in a lot of different ways. And if we just go with the default of what Notion will create for us, we might make the mistake of creating a chart where each of the lines of a bar chart, or each of the bars of the bar chart, I'm imagining multiple bars right here in a chart, could represent the day of a month. And that would be like, say, October. I make on the 1st, on the 2nd, on the 3rd of October, I've made no income because you don't typically get paid every single day. Maybe I had a jump here and then you made a little bit less here. That's not really that interesting to me. What I actually want to see is each bar of the bar chart is 1 month, and what I'm looking at is the entire year, or at least the year up to the current date, and each bar of the bar chart is 1 month. In order to do that, we're going to click that backslash to create one of various fields that are available in Notion. I'm going to create a chart. I'm going to use a horizontal bar chart. The difference between vertical and horizontal is totally subjective. It's your preference, which is better for you. I think horizontal is better personally because it's easier to see the distinction between different bars. We're not going to use a line chart because a line chart is better for if you're tracking some kind of a total over time. An example would be YouTube subscribers. The amount of YouTube subscribers that I have is a single total that changes over time, and ideally it's growing. And so that's a good candidate for a line chart. But if I'm interested in something that it's not a single total over time, but rather an amount that I'm interested in how much it was that given month, that is more for a bar chart. So I'm going to do horizontal bar chart. We're going to connect it to our 2025 database that we made. And now, like I said, we don't want to see every single day of the year. That's not helpful. What I want to show on the y-axis, the time axis in this case, is date, or based on the date field that we made. I don't want to see every day. I want to see every month. Okay, now it shows us the days that, like how many days are in each month. That's also not helpful. That's not what I want. I want to show income and how much I made total in income in each of those months. So we're adding them together, and here we have our total. So let's try it out. Let's go back under the quick capture. It's showing 719 right now. In order to make it an even 800, we would have to have been paid $81. So let's see. Let's say on October 25th, I was paid $81. Our total on the chart should now be exactly 800. Looks good. We can also test and go back and see if we had been tracking our metrics back throughout the rest of the year. I'll come back over to the quick capture. Let's change this filter. Instead of the past 2 days, let's say the past 2 months. And now I can say I was paid $151. And then 444, and then 918. I'm getting some really generous paychecks. And then 227. Okay, so you can see how this works. One last little tweak I'm going to do is I don't like that each of these months is a different color. I would rather see all of this is money. It's all income that I'm earning. So I'm going to come back here to the customization options. I'm going to click color, and I want everything to be green. I can also change the name of this. I'm tracking my income over time, and I'm done.